Hey viewers, welcome to African Tales by Afi. Please kindly click the subscribe button to get notified for more amazing stories. Chapter 1: The Fall of Raymond. In the bustling city of Galma, where tall buildings kissed the sky and cars buzzed like bees, there lived a man named Raymond. He was one of the wealthiest men in town. His mansion had marble floors, golden curtains, and a fountain that danced to music. Everyone admired Raymond's success. He had a wife named Favor, a daughter named Philadelphia, and a son named David. From the outside, they looked like the perfect family. But Raymond often sat by the window in silence, staring at the sky. Something troubled his heart. "I have everything," he would whisper to himself, "but I don't know if I have love. Do they love me, or do they love what I give them?" One evening, Raymond gathered his family in the sitting room. He wore a simple shirt instead of his usual expensive suit. Favor sat with her arms crossed, already irritated that the air conditioner was off. Philadelphia scrolled on her phone, chewing gum loudly, while David watched his father with quiet curiosity. "I have something important to tell you all," Raymond began, clearing his throat. "There's been a great loss. I've lost everything." Favor sat up straight. "What do you mean, everything?" "I've shut down all my businesses. I've handed over my wealth. We have no more money. We will move to my late father's small house in the village to start over." The room went still. Philadelphia dropped her phone. "Wait, what? No more money? No more shopping? What about my birthday party at the Crystal Palace?" David looked worried but said nothing. Favor stood up, angry. "You must be joking, Raymond. After all these years of living like royalty, you expect us to live in a mud house? What happened to our investments? Our house in the city?" "I gave it all away," Raymond said firmly. "We need to know what matters most in life." Favor stormed off, slamming the door behind her. Philadelphia followed, shouting, "I can't believe this is happening. This is your fault." Only David remained, walking over to sit beside his father. "Dad, is it really that bad?" he asked. Raymond nodded, though his heart was heavy. "Yes, son. But we will be okay. We just need to stay strong." "I'll help you," David said quietly. "Even if it means we start from nothing." Raymond's eyes filled with tears, and he placed a hand on David's shoulder. Days later, the family arrived at the small village of Obina, where Raymond's father once lived. The house was tiny, with a leaking roof and no running water. The air was filled with the scent of firewood and fresh earth. Chickens ran freely, and neighbors peeked out curiously at the newcomers. Favor stood with her arms folded. "This place smells like smoke and sweat. I won't last a week here." Philadelphia wrinkled her nose. "EW. Where's the mall? Where's the Wi-Fi?" But David rolled up his sleeves. "Where's the broom? We can clean this place up." That first night, while the crickets sang and the moon lit the sky, Raymond and David sat outside on a bench. "I'm proud of you," Raymond said. "You've shown me what family is really about." David smiled. "I'm learning from you." But inside the house, Favor sat in frustration, biting her nails. She couldn't sleep on the hard mat and missed her silk bed. That was when she remembered Chief Gondon, the wealthy village chief who once flirted with her during Raymond's father's funeral. She smirked. "I still have choices," she whispered. And Philadelphia, bored and annoyed, remembered Mr. White, a married man from the nearby farm who had complimented her earlier that day. "I'll show them I can still live a sweet life," she murmured to herself. Meanwhile, Raymond continued to believe he was helping his family learn a lesson in love, never suspecting the storm brewing beneath his own roof. The sun rose gently over Obina village, casting golden light across the rooftops. Roosters crowed loudly, and smoke from morning fires filled the air. While most people were already busy with chores, Favor sat on a bench outside, fanning herself with a palm leaf. "This heat will kill me," she grumbled. "No air conditioning, no running water, no help. This is not the life I prayed for." From inside the kitchen, Raymond called out, "Favor, can you help David fetch water from the stream? We'll need it to cook." Favor scoffed. "Me? Fetch water? Raymond, please, I'm not built for village life." Raymond sighed but didn't argue. He and David picked up the water containers and began the long walk to the stream. Along the way, David asked, "Dad, do you think Mom will ever get used to this place?" Raymond looked ahead and said gently, "Sometimes we don't realize how strong we are until we have no choice but to be strong. Let's give her time." At the stream, they met other villagers who greeted Raymond warmly. "Ah, city man. You're really one of us now," said an old man named Pa Nduka, laughing. Raymond laughed too. "I'm learning quickly, sir." Meanwhile, back in the village, Favor made her way to Chief Gondon's compound, pretending she was just taking a stroll. The chief's compound was large and fancy, with guards at the gate and a shiny car parked in front. One of the guards, recognizing Favor, quickly let her in. Chief Gondon was a large man with a big belly and an even bigger laugh. He sat on a long chair, eating fried yam and pepper sauce. "Ah, Madam Favor," he boomed. "What a surprise to see you again. Sit, sit." Favor smiled sweetly. "Chief, I've missed your fine compound. Everything here reminds me of what I've lost." Chief Gondon chuckled. "Then maybe you should stop punishing yourself and start enjoying life again. I can give you comfort, Favor. A woman like you deserves luxury." Favor's eyes sparkled. "I'll think about it, Chief." Back at the house, Philadelphia sat under a mango tree, texting on a small phone she had hidden in her bag. Suddenly, a tall man in a farming coat walked up to her. "Hello again, pretty lady," said Mr. White, smiling slyly. Philadelphia blushed. "You came. I always keep my promises." "I brought you the cream and snacks you asked for," he said, handing her a plastic bag. Philadelphia grinned. "You're better than all these village boys." They both laughed, but just as Philadelphia was about to take the bag, Raymond and David returned from the stream. Raymond paused, staring at the scene before him. Mr. White quickly stepped back. "What is going on here?" Raymond asked, his voice calm but firm. Philadelphia rolled her eyes. Nothing. He was just being nice. Nice? Raymond walked forward slowly. You're meeting a married man in secret and taking gifts from him? Why do you care? Philadelphia snapped. You're the reason we're stuck in this place. I didn't ask for this life. David stood in shock. Philadelphia, that's not fair. Raymond looked hurt but kept his voice steady. I care because you are my daughter. And no matter how far we fall, our name and pride should still matter. Philadelphia turned and walked away. Mr. White mumbled an apology and disappeared into the bushes. Later that night, as the family sat down for a simple meal of yam and vegetables, the air was thick with silence. Favor poked at her food. Is this what we've become? Eating from the ground like beggars? Raymond dropped his spoon. If this is beneath you, Favor, then perhaps you should ask yourself what really matters to you, comfort or character? Favor stood up, her face angry. You talk like a teacher. But what do you really know about life? You threw everything away. You ruined us. I was trying to save us, Raymond replied, his voice trembling. I wanted to see if what we had was real. But all I've seen is lies, anger, and selfishness. David spoke softly, Dad, maybe we just need more time. Maybe they'll see what you're trying to teach. Raymond nodded but said nothing more. That night, he sat alone outside under the stars, wondering if his plan had failed. Was his family too far gone to understand the lesson? Inside, Favor lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She thought of Chief Gondon's offer, the wealth he promised. And in the corner of the small room, Philadelphia scrolled through messages from Mr. White, smiling in the dark. Only David slept peacefully, unaware of the storms quietly building in the hearts of his mother and sister. The morning breeze blew gently through the village, rustling the leaves and carrying the faint scent of roasting corn. While the villagers began their daily tasks, a different kind of storm brewed inside Raymond's modest home. Favor stood by the window, combing her hair in silence. Her lips were pressed together, and her eyes looked far away, straight toward the road that led to Chief Gondon's compound. She turned to Philadelphia, who was sitting on a wooden stool, applying cream to her arms. Philadelphia, Favor said carefully, you remember Chief Gondon, don't you? Philadelphia looked up, raising an eyebrow. The fat man with the gold necklace? Of course. Favor chuckled. He's very powerful. He can change our lives again. I mean, look at us, fetching water, cooking over fire, sleeping on a mat. We weren't made for this. Philadelphia nodded slowly. You're right. I hate it here. And Mr. White says he can take me to the city if I want. Favor's eyes lit up. Then let's stop waiting for things to change. Let's do something. I've already made up my mind. Just then, the door creaked open and David entered, carrying a basket of vegetables from the farm. Good morning, Mum. Philadelphia, he greeted. Papa says we should all eat breakfast together. Favor waved him off. Tell him I'm not hungry. David looked at them, noticing something strange in their eyes. He frowned but said nothing, heading back to the kitchen. Outside, Raymond sat on a wooden stool, sipping hot pap from a cup. He was tired, not from work, but from watching his family fall apart day by day. David joined him, placing the basket on the floor. "Papa, I don't like the way Mama and Philadelphia are acting." Raymond looked at him sadly. "I know, son. But the heart always reveals itself when stripped of comfort." David was quiet, then asked, "Do you think they'll ever understand what you were trying to teach them?" Raymond sighed. "I don't know. But I still hope." Later that day, Favor wore her best wrapper and walked down the dusty road to Chief Gongon's compound. She had oiled her face, tied her ghillie high, and practiced her smile in the mirror. She arrived and was quickly led in by the guard. "Ah, Madam Favor," Chief Gongon said, standing up and spreading his arms. "You are like sunshine in this compound." Favor laughed sweetly. "Chief, I came because I need a man who understands my worth." Chief Gongon grinned. "And I need a woman who knows how to treat a man like a king." Just as they began discussing arrangements, the door slammed open. Aloma, Chief Gongon's fourth wife, stormed into the room. "What is this woman doing here again?" Aloma barked. Chief Gongon froze. "Aloma, calm down." Favor stood up, surprised. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Aloma spat. "I warned you before, didn't I? You think you can just come and take another woman's husband because your city dreams failed?" Favor gasped. "How dare you?" Aloma marched forward. "You're nothing but a desperate woman chasing gold. Stay away from my husband, or you'll see the real fire in me." Chief Gongon tried to step between them, but Aloma slapped the bag out of Favor's hand. Favor screamed. "You will pay for this humiliation." She stormed out, leaving behind her pride and her carefully tied ghillie. Back in the village, Raymond and David were preparing lunch when she returned, dusty and fuming. David blinked. "Mama, are you okay?" Favor ignored him and stomped into the room. Raymond quietly followed her and closed the door behind them. "Where were you?" he asked. Favor whirled around. "Don't you dare question me." Raymond stayed calm. "I don't need to. I already know. And I'm ashamed, Favor. Truly ashamed." Favor's lips trembled. "You ruined our lives. You dragged us here and made us suffer." "I was only trying to find a way out." Raymond shook his head. "You weren't finding a way out. You were choosing a different kind of prison. You gave up on your family the moment the money was gone." Outside, David and Philadelphia sat in silence. "Mom and Dad are fighting again," Philadelphia muttered. "This place is cursed." David looked at her seriously. "No. The curse is in the choices we make." That evening, while Raymond cleaned up the yard, Philadelphia snuck out with her small bag and met Mr. White near the bush path. "Are you ready?" he asked. She nodded. "Take me away from this place." He smiled and led her away. Meanwhile, Raymond sat in the fading light, his heart heavy. He didn't know that Philadelphia was gone yet. And he didn't know that the final test was just around the corner. The morning sun peeked over the trees, casting golden light over the village rooftops. Birds chirped cheerfully, but inside Raymond's compound, there was no joy, only silence and unanswered questions. "Philadelphia?" David called, walking into her room with a cup of warm pap. "It's morning. Come eat." But the bed was neatly made. Her wrapper was gone. Her slippers were missing too. David's chest tightened. He ran outside. "Papa," he shouted. "Philadelphia is gone." Raymond dropped his broom. "Gone? Are you sure?" She didn't sleep in her bed. "Her things are missing." Raymond's face went cold. He stormed back inside and called, "Favor." Favor emerged slowly from the back room, her eyes puffy. "What is it? Where is Philadelphia?" Raymond demanded. Favor shrugged, barely looking up. "How would I know?" Raymond stared at her. "You didn't see her leave?" "She's not a child, Raymond." "Maybe she went to the stream or—" "She didn't take a calabash or any laundry," David interrupted. Raymond clenched his fists. "Then where did she go?" Favor rolled her eyes. "Ask the air. Or maybe ask yourself, since you're the one who dragged us from our mansion into this village misery." David stepped forward. "Mama, please stop. This isn't about blaming anyone. Our family is falling apart." Favor turned on him. "Oh, so now you're your father's little soldier, eh? You think you know everything just because you farm a few yams?" Raymond raised his voice. "Enough, Favor. This isn't about pride or punishment anymore. This is about Philadelphia. She's missing. She could be in danger." Just then, a knock came at the door. David rushed to open it and found Mama Didi, the village gossip, standing with her arms crossed. "I thought you people might want to know," she said with a smirk. "Philadelphia was seen getting into a car last night with a man. That Mr. White from the next village." Favor gasped and held her chest. "Mr. White? But he's married." Mama Didi nodded. "And a known flirt. If she went with him, may the gods help her." Raymond slumped onto a bench, his eyes full of pain. "My daughter." David looked at him with worry. "Should we go look for her?" Raymond nodded slowly. "Yes. But first, we need to pray. And after that, we move." Favor said nothing. Her face was filled with guilt now, knowing she'd been too distracted by her own desires to notice her daughter slipping away. That night, while the moon cast shadows on the dusty compound, Raymond and David sat outside, their bags packed. "You're really leaving tomorrow?" Favor asked quietly, stepping out of the hut. Raymond looked up at her. "Yes. I got a small job in the city. Not much, but enough to start again." Favor swallowed hard. "And me? What about me?" Raymond stood slowly. I don't know, Favor. I gave you love, family, and time to reflect. But you chose pride and comfort over loyalty. She looked away. I never thought it would turn out like this. Raymond stepped closer. And I never thought I'd have to teach my own family what true love and sacrifice look like. There was a long pause. Then, quietly, Favor whispered, will you forgive me if I change? Raymond's eyes softened for a moment, but he said nothing. He simply walked away into the night with David. Back in the city, the next day, David's jaw dropped as they stepped out of a small bus, not in front of a shabby gate or one-room apartment, but in front of a tall white mansion. Papa, what is this place? He asked. Raymond smiled. Welcome home, son. David turned in disbelief. But I thought we were poor. Raymond took a deep breath. David, everything was a test. I transferred all our money and businesses temporarily to a close friend. I needed to see who truly loved me, not my money. David's eyes widened. You gave up everything to test us? Raymond nodded. And only one person passed. You. David hugged him tightly. I'll never let you down, Papa. Meanwhile, back in the village, Favor walked the compound alone. No one greeted her anymore. Chief Gongon had banned her from visiting, and the villagers whispered behind her back. She sat under the mango tree, tears falling silently. Maybe I lost everything, she whispered. Just then, a young boy ran up the path with a letter in hand. Are you Madame Favor? She wiped her face. Yes. Why? The boy handed her the letter. It was written in Raymond's handwriting. It read, Favor. If you're reading this, it means I've moved on. I pray you find your own way forward, perhaps now, with a clearer heart. The mansion is not what made us a family. You, me, Philadelphia, and David did. I hope it's not too late to become that family again. Favor held the letter to her chest and wept. The sun was high in the sky as Raymond and David settled into their new life in the city. The mansion, though filled with luxury, didn't feel quite like home without the rest of the family. But Raymond remained firm. He would not chase after those who had chosen comfort over character. One morning, while they were eating akra and pap in the lush garden, David looked at his father thoughtfully. Papa, he said, do you think Mama will ever change? Raymond sighed and placed his cup down. I don't know, son. Sometimes, people need to lose everything before they see clearly. But I've done my part. Now it's up to her. Just then, the gateman came rushing in. Olga! There is a woman outside the gate. She say she know you well. Raymond raised his brow. Did she say her name? She say she be your wife. Madame Favor. Raymond blinked. Favor? David stood up instantly. She found us? Raymond nodded slowly. Let her in. Moments later, Favor walked into the compound, her wrapper dusty, her face sunburnt, her hair wrapped in a loose scarf. She looked nothing like the proud, elegant woman who once lived in splendor. Raymond, she began, her voice trembling. Raymond stood silently, watching her. David stepped back, allowing them space. Favor fell to her knees. Please, forgive me. I was blind. I let greed and comfort poison my heart. I forgot the man you were, the man who loved us deeply. Raymond's jaw tightened. And what changed, Favor? Favor pulled out a folded note from her bag. This letter. It broke me. It reminded me of the man I once loved, and the woman I used to be. I want to be her again, for you, for David, for myself. He took the letter gently, then looked at her. Where's Philadelphia? Favor's eyes clouded. I found her. Mr. White abandoned her when his wife discovered the affair. She came back to the village, pregnant and broken. We're both broken, Raymond. But we want to heal. Raymond's expression softened for a moment before he looked at David. Go bring water for your mother. David obeyed, hurrying away. Favor wiped her tears. I was foolish, I know. But Raymond, you still have my heart. I want to start again, with you, with Philadelphia, with David. Raymond bent down slowly and lifted her to her feet. Favor, I didn't do all this to destroy you. I did it to wake you up. To remind you that love isn't gold and glitter. It's loyalty. Sacrifice. Truth. I know that now, she whispered. If you let me, I'll spend every day proving it to you. Raymond gave a faint nod. Then come inside. We have a home to rebuild. Weeks later, the house was once again full, this time not with servants and noise, but with healing, laughter, and truth. Philadelphia had come to stay as well, humbled by her experience, and slowly mending her relationship with her family. One evening, while they all sat together under the stars in the garden, Philadelphia turned to her father. Papa, why did you do it? Why pretend to lose everything? Raymond looked at each of them and smiled. Because sometimes, my children, when people are blind, you must take away the glitter so they can see the gold. I needed to know who loved me for me. And though the road was painful, now I know. And now, we can begin again. David grinned. We're stronger now, Papa. Favor took Raymond's hand. We are a family again. Not perfect, but real. Raymond nodded. And that's the kind of wealth no one can steal. As they sat there, bathed in the soft light of the moon, laughter rose into the night. The lessons had been hard. The pain had been real. But from the ashes of their mistakes, something stronger had risen, love, forged by truth and tested by fire. And so, the tale of Raymond, the wise man who lost everything to gain what truly mattered, became a story told in the village for generations about values, love, and the strength of family. The end. Hello tribe, hope we enjoyed today's story. Please kindly put what you've learned in the comments section. Please remember to hit the like button, share this to your friends and family as well as subscribe to see you on the next one. Bye.